Okay, so this is going to be pretty short compared to the rest of the Goose videos. It's just getting the control rig set up. So we already have the model pulled in, and it's got all those kind of artificial anchor points. So we'll create this thing and then use that same skeleton. So I've got two because the old one's in there, but we'll use the new one. Okay, and so there's a few ways to do this. I learned this quick way where you can like highlight everything and then get them created. But this actually turns out to be really slow. So there's a faster way because of how we've named it. So I'll do that here in a second. Here we can utilize the little search that they have. And because we have our own convention for pivot anchor, so PA underscore, we'll just bring up all the things that we want. And then there's this handy add controls for selected, which automatically creates the full hierarchy the way that we want. We're not going to get too precious with the control rig appearance. So right now it's like just created a bunch of giant spears everywhere. And we can just kind of ignore that for the time being. I think eventually we could get more clever with the names and then use that to drive what kind of control it is. But for now, all we need to do is create an array in the blueprint area from all the bones, and then we're going to have to do the same thing for all the controls. Because what we really want is just to make sure that those controls actually exist for the bones, so when we manipulate them, we can see the effects, and eventually adding constraints and stuff. So like we don't want the cannon to bend too far one way or the other. The wings, like all that stuff. At this point, we're going to set up a for loop, and so we want it to say that for each bone, we are going to check for a control, and then assign the bone to the position of the control. At this point, we can get precious about the way that control rig looks. So we're going to shrink the size down. It's kind of unique to the project where our model sizes are really tiny because once we scale it up using nanite, then it'll, I don't know, it seems to just explode when we actually put it in the scene. So I'm always, the editors are really weird, but it ends up being fine in the game. So let's see. I think, I kind of messed around here and ultimately I landed on just setting it as like a transparent polygon. Also, I forgot to connect the little the wire there so that it would actually make edits. So now it actually works. The thing that sparked all of this, just testing the rotation of the cannon, that works. There's improvements we can make overall. This is just making sure that whatever we do in the modeling program actually comes through. So that's actually happening. That feels good. This next bit is called the backwards solve. I truly don't understand what this is for yet. I've read about it. It talks about something about baked animations and it being used for that, but I don't really see the relevance. The forward works, but all the implementations I've seen have backward solving. So it just inverts the controls and the anchors. So apparently I don't know enough about animation to see why this is necessary. Or yeah, I just don't know. But I did it anyways just in case we need it. And it's really not, it's pretty trivial. the way we have it set up, so we can just copy and paste it, and then we can, yeah, it'll be there, and we can turn it off if it doesn't help us, or yeah. Finally, we are going to pull that control rig into the scene. You see how the size is just fine now? So weird, but that's the right size. Um, yeah, we can mess with the controls now, which they come in kind of dark. I guess that's something to do with the lighting in the scene maybe, but at any rate, they're there, and you can just mess with the transforms and stuff. I don't know how much we're going to be doing this, like with sequencer and stuff, like maybe posing things in the background or whatnot. It could be useful for environment building, but I think more for us, control rig will be used to set constraints and then try and animate in blueprint or with like physics and then just restrict the boundaries and stuff. And those are the things that we would be rotating on. So right now the wing is one big ol' uh, like object, and so we'll have to divide that up so like the feathers have their own object, and we can kind of do that and make the animations more interesting. Because I've seen some other implementations with control rig where they have like dangling bits, and those dangling bits kind of move around and wiggle, and so we'll be trying to do that. But that's the next thing to learn.